platforms in real time. They have access to view the sessions and their backends as well. So it's not just those people who are attending today, but a lot of those people who we can't identify, but we know they're our customers and they would be viewing this today. So,
Perfect.
so yeah, it should be
Sounds
a
great.
wider audience. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
Not just those people who are attending today, but a lot of those people who we can't identify, but we know they're our customers and they would be viewing this today. So, Hemendra, can you mute everybody on the meeting? Because I'm getting an echo from the YouTube session.
It's done.
Thanks, Hemendra. So we'll just wait one more minute before we start. See people joining in fast. Awesome. I think we'll start now. I thank everybody to take out time this morning, rather afternoon. In the publishing industry, people start their day a little late, so mostly after 11. So it's probably the first thing you're seeing today. And this is the second session we're doing where we're going to be covering this very, very exciting new topic, which is part of the Google News initiative called News Consumer Insights and Real-Time Content Insights. For those of you who joined a little late, I'm like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, as well as to a very special guest we have. We have Jenna from Google, who's joining us today as well for this session. So Jenna, if you can wave to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We're very excited to hear what Manish and the team has to share with us on NCI and RCI. And, we definitely hope to take away really great insights on how we can better increase our reach and traffic. Thank you so much, Manish.
Thank you, Jenna. And also as part of this entire interaction, we always like to keep things interactive. If you have any questions, please do raise your hands and the moderators will unmute you and ask you to ask your question, or you can always use the chat box, which all of you have seen, and put your questions in that, and the moderators will pick those up. We will also have a couple of live polls happening during the entire interaction. So encourage everybody to participate in those live polls. That will give us a sense of the overall audience as well as your overall utilizations of the platform, and it'll be really great fun to see this live interaction coming through. So let's move on. Today's topic is very, very interesting. It's news consumer insights and real-time content insights. And these are tools and solutions which can help every publisher, whether it's news, whether it's media, whether it's broadcast, you might be from any walk of life. There's always, content which you're creating and consumers who are visiting your content. So you always want to have a know-how into how your content is doing and how consumers are reading and adopting your content. So, this is a term which you've heard of in the past, and actually a lot of you would have heard this very recently as well when Reliance had its AGM and they talked about what they're doing with Geo. The new term, which this is not new anymore, but you would have heard it in the recent past, is data is the new oil. And The Economist ran the story in 2017, where they said that the world's most valuable resource is data. It's no longer oil. And companies like Google, Facebook, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, these companies are doing a lot of things with the data which they are aggregating. Now, as all of you know, in the last 6 months, the cost of oil has dropped, right? So for us, we'll coin a new term today, and that term is data is the new gold, because we all know the price of gold has increased tremendously in the last 6 months. A lot of our publisher friends who are here from south of India would realize that how important their investments in gold were, and appreciate that their the women in their households took a very, very good decision in investing in gold. So data is the new gold is a term which we are coining today. But just like gold, oil is valuable, but if it is unrefined, it cannot really be used. It has to be changed. It has to be refined well so that it can be changed into gas, plastic, chemicals to create a valuable entity that drives profitable activity. So just like oil is worthless when it comes out of an oil rig, right? It's absolutely like mud and you can't do anything with it. It needs to be refined. It needs to be put through these huge refineries to change it into what all valuable stuff it can, kind of take out of that. The same is true for data. Data also needs to be broken down, analyzed, and visualized for it to have value. Now, these are not my words. These are the words of Clive Humby, and this is really way back in 2006, where he said that you can have all the data in the world, but if you don't know how to analyze and process it, it's worthless. So for us as well, data is available with us, and we all have our gold mines. And those gold mines or those oil rigs reside in Google Analytics. So let's do a quick poll right now and check how many of us who are on this session today use Google Analytics. So there's a poll right in front of you on your screens. Let's see how many of you are using Google Analytics. And I can see the results are coming really, really fast. So far, 100%, which means all of us are very rich. We have our gold mines in Google Analytics. And let's wait 5 more seconds to see if everybody can respond. The remaining 7 who have not voted before we close the poll. Come on, to all of you who have not voted. Either you don't use Google Analytics, which means you're missing out on a lot, or you're not looking at your screen, which means you're still missing out a lot. Okay, so we'll end the poll. We're good with an 87% response. So 34 out of 34, said that they're using Google Analytics, and that's 100% return, and that's awesome. But what do we do with Google Analytics? How do we utilize Google Analytics in a more effective manner, right? What's the way in which we can analyze Google Analytics more visually? that's what we're going to be discussing about today, right? So all of you have a wealth of data in your Google Analytics, but when you mine that, when you refine it, when you create a more better visual interface to it, is when the actual gold, which is there in the data in Google Analytics, will come out. So to take you ahead, we have three different sections which are part of this entire data visualization we're talking about. So it starts with data collection, it starts with reader engagement, and then it starts with content insights or content optimizing the content in real time. So data collection is managed using news tagging guide. The reader funnel engagement analysis is managed using news consumer insights. And optimizing your content in real time is managed using real-time content insights. Now, for the purpose of this session today, we're going to be covering news consumer insights and real-time content insights. News tagging is another aspect of the entire solution. It's a little bit deeper in the sense that you need to go a little bit deeper into the implementation. So that's a session for the month of August as we continue our engagement with Google News Initiative. So that's for August. But today, very important two elements we're covering is news consumer insights and real-time content insights. So to take you ahead, I will pass the baton on to Jitin Chaudhary. A lot of you know him already, but he's going to be the one who's going to be taking you through news consumer insights and how you can analyze data and analytics. So Jitin, over to you.
Myself. All right. Thank you, Manish. I really like the term data is the new oil or gold. We all know that we all have our refineries, but we need to, create byproducts from it. So that's what one of the byproducts from that refinery of Google Analytics is news consumer insight. Now, News Consumer Insight, the tool was launched in 2018, keeping in mind a very simple idea of helping publishers make business-driven decisions. Now, when I say business-driven decisions, these decisions are basically to help publishers understand their data on Google Analytics and understand the reader engagement element in it and the reader revenue element in it, and take important calls to grow both engagement and revenue. So as the word says, news consumer insights, it's basically data analytics and insights to help publishers build sustainable digital business. Now there are four sections to news consumer insights. The first one is the section which is called actionable recommendations. As the word says, it's actionable recommendations. Now, these recommendations are given to you by a tool which is created by Google called the decision making engine, which basically understands your data on parameters like reader engagement, reader revenue, and video insights, and provides you recommendations to improve all these three areas. So that's one segment of the NCI, which is actionable recommendation. The second segment of the NCI report is reader engagement. Now, this section is basically giving you insights on your reader engagement, which understands how deep and frequent readers are coming to your site and interacting with your content. The third section under the news consumer insight is basically reader revenue. Now, it is very important to understand reader revenue and correlated with the reader engagement part. What reader revenue says or highlights is basically the revenue per user for your content that you've created. It can be a subscription-based revenue or a ad-driven revenue. Now, the fourth section under the news consumer insights is basically the video insights. Now, video has its own advantage. It has two elements in it which creates a lot of engagement and attraction. The first element of video is movement. There is movement in the video, and the second element is noise or voice, which is there in the video. So these two elements really create that hook onto the user to create a lot of engagement. Now, video insights basically highlight all the possible insights which are available within your analytics or within your which can be integrated into the video player and give you actionable recommendations to improve engagement, depth, and frequency of your video visits or video views. Now let's go a little bit deeper and look at the toolbar, the NCI toolbar. But before we do that, there are some terms that I would like to take you through, which is I've created a small glossary for it. The first term is NCI reader funnel. So this term you'll see a lot in the NCI report, which is basically segmentations of readers based on their visits to your site. The second term is the recommendation split. It's basically reader engagement, reader revenue, and better data. So the whole idea of NCI is to give you insights on reader engagement, reader revenue, and making sure you capitalize the best data to give you proper insight. So that's what recommendations are based from and on. ARPU, again, this is very crucial term that you will come across in the NCI report. It's basically average ad revenue per user. This is calculated based on the revenue that you can generate for a user from a particular source of traffic. Google Lighthouse, again, you might have heard this term before. Lighthouse is an automated tool which basically helps you understand the problem areas in terms of delivering your content and gives you suggestions to improve that. The most important thing that I would like to highlight here is the reader engagement score. Now, this is very crucial. What Google does is basically they have evaluated thousands of news publishers and created a benchmark standard for every publisher to check their score against. So there are thousands of publishers against. Sorry,
Jitin.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
We're getting a feedback.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Didn't everybody hear you?
Yeah, just stop, Jitin.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's better now. There's no feedback now.
Okay. I'll represent. Let me switch off my video. Maybe that's taking the bandwidth. All right. Right. Am I audible? Is my screen visible? That's the question before I proceed forward.
Yes, Jitin.
All right. Great. So we were on reader engagement score. It's basically a benchmark against all news publishers in the industry. What we measure in the reader engagement score are basically four crucial elements. First one, how many times does the reader visit your site as compared to other news sites? How many articles does the user read per visit? Again, it's how long does the reader stay on your site? And how many articles does the user read on an average across all visits? So these are four parameters that you will compare yourself with the benchmark, which is about 1,000 plus news publishers. The other important term that I would like to highlight here is scroll depth. This is basically the depth of the reader on your page. So whether it's scrolled to 25%, 50%, 75% of your content or 100% of your content. So it is measured on that. And the final most term that I would like to highlight here is dark traffic. Now that dark traffic is an interesting source of traffic. It's basically all the traffic which comes through sharing of content on mobile screens, which is WhatsApp or SMS. So all the traffic that comes from that is considered as dark traffic, but it's highlighted under the direct traffic when you look at Google Analytics. Now, like I said, let's go deeper into news consumer insights. Okay, to open the tool for news consumer insights, you need to log on to news-consumer.insights.appspot.com and insights. How it works is basically you need to link your analytics account here by authorizing your account to view your data. Once you authorize your account, a report like this will be generated for you on basis of your Google Analytics. A decision engine made by Google will look into Google Analytics and create a report which will give you all the 4 sections that we have gone through in brief. So the first section that the report highlights is your actionable recommendations. Now, these are recommendations to improve reader engagement and reader revenue. Let's go through this section in brief. It basically creates a funnel for your users or readers, and it's divided into 3 parts: casual reader, loyal, and brand lovers. Casuals are basically who come once in 30 days, whereas brand lovers are who are coming more than 15 times in last 30 days. The loyal ones are basically coming between 2 to 14 times in last 30 days. That's how the segmentation of the readers are done. Now, if you look at the left section of the page, it will give you insights on what percentage of page views are generated by what brand of readers. So whether it's loyal, casual, and brand lovers. Now, the actionable items, which is basically the recommendations for actions, would be given to you on 2 parameters. One is reader engagement, and the second one is reader revenue. So under reader engagement, you will basically divide the recommendations, or you will get 2 key areas to improve on. One is more visits. So every publisher would like more visits happening to their to their site. So it will basically talk about how do you acquire users through newsletter. That's one suggestion that it will give. It will also talk about web push notifications, how successful they are in terms of bringing traffic. It will also look at your structured data for news articles and tell you improvements on how you can improve your structured data for better organic discoverability. And it will also talk about what percentage of traffic does social media contribute and what can be done to amplify your social presence. So that's first part of the reader recommendation report or the actionable item. The second part, which is first one was more visits. The second part is spending more time. So higher session duration and time spent. So this again is very crucial for reader engagement. It talks about 4 different elements in the report. It talks about your page speed. Again, the Lighthouse tool comes in handy here, which basically highlights what needs to be done. It talks about recirculation strategy. Now, this is you'll hear this term a lot under RCI, which is real-time content insights. Also, recirculation strategy. Now, what is recirculation? Recirculation is basically ensuring that your content is recirculated to the user so that the time spent or the visit that the user has is a longer visit. So he is guided to various content through AI, ML, or through intent. Another suggestion that the actionable report highlights is basically if you have videos on your site, like I said, it has 2 key elements: movement and noise, that creates more engagement and higher time spent. So the problem what publishers face is they have videos on the site, but the problem is presence and placement of the video player. Now, what is presence and placement? Presence is something, can a user or a reader coming to your site actually know that there is a video content? That's presence. And placement is, has he scrolled across a placement of a video player? So this insight or a report will help you improve both presence and placement of the video content. And the last most suggestion on improving visits and longer visits is basically making sure that what percentage of users are actually reaching 100% of the scroll depth, or not the scroll depth, but the video consumption on the video player. So that's on the insights for reader engagement. like the section suggests, it's actionable recommendation. Now let's look at reader revenue, which is again a crucial part. So we have taken care of the engagement part. Now let's look at the revenue part, how it fares. How do you fare in terms of your overall readers coming in, and what's your average return, and what can you do to improve it? So what it says is it basically allows you to work on two revenue aspects. One is subscription, and the second is ad revenue. For subscriptions, it could be any subscription, whether it's an e-paper subscription or it could be a subscription to content or niche categories on your site. What it does is it allows you to measure these goals which are created in Google Analytics and look at the conversion rate and improve performance on it. It also, suggests the publisher to take feedback from users and readers to understand what kind of content would they like to pay for, what are they comfortable in terms of consuming content, and what are the modes. It also suggests having good marketing messages. Marketing messages could be making users understand why they need to pay for the content or what value do they get after a paid mechanism. This is very important. Optimizing landing page on mobile, desktop, and tablets is basically ensuring that your marketing message, your checkout process, your communication with the user is optimized for every platform, so that any transaction that's about to take place or any goal that you have created, the conversions are much higher. Optimization of checkout flow, again, like the word says, it's very simple. It's basically ensuring that steps to the checkout process are very few, limited, and are easily accessible. So if there are too many steps to actually make a purchase for a subscription, the chances of users dropping off are always higher. So this tool actually gives you insights to optimize that. And then the seventh recommendation which you see on the screen, which NCI report gives to publishers after linking, is improvement of ad revenue. Now, when we say ad revenue, it's basically understanding what percentage of traffic is actually using ad blockers, what marketing message can you show there, or what other alternatives can you provide that user to understand how to improve your ad revenue. So that's basically two important sections under the actionable recommendations. The third most important section, which the NCI report under the recommendation highlights, is basically making sure that you measure scroll depth, you understand newsletter signups, and amplify your social sharing strategy. Basically, understand what percentage of traffic is coming from social and how you can boost that up. Then for videos, it talks about implementing proper tags. There are multiple players that can be integrated on your site, YouTube, JW player, and many more. And how to tag to get better data from there is something crucial. And this basically, again, are few recommendations on improving news tagging or to understand more reader revenue improvements and insights. Now that's the first section that we have gone through. The second section that I'd like to take you through under the NCI News Consumer Insight Report is, or the tool is reader engagement. Now this is very important section to understand what kind of an engagement are your readers having with your content. So if you look at this screen, the tool will highlight the demographics of the user based on the funnel that we created, which is casual, loyal, and brand lovers. It will also highlight what percentage of readers are contributing what percentage of revenue, as well as page views. So if you look at these data, it will tell 4.8 million readers are actually bringing in 10% of your overall page views, whereas 250K, which is 60% of your readers, are bringing 20 million of your page views. Going further, it will also highlight, like I said, average ad revenue per user. So based on the category funnel that the user is, it highlights the importance of that user, what revenue is being brought by that particular user from that category, what's the total ad revenue that you get from that, and what kind of a interaction that user is having with the content. So if you look at it, number of visits for that particular reader on an average is 33 if he's a brand lover, and the time spent is much higher as compared to loyal and casual readers. So these insights basically help you take important decisions in terms of pushing casual to loyal and loyal to brand lovers. Like I said, actionable recommendations was to amplify your social strategy. So again, this reader engagement section highlights what percentage of traffic is actually coming from various social networks that are available, and what is the overall inputs in terms of traffic from social, and what is the average revenue per user based on traffic sources. So going forward, like it says, where are your readers coming from and which traffic source is most valuable? So we have understood what social brings in, what is average revenue per user as per the funnel. But now let's look and deep dive into various traffic sources. Now, if you look at this report, it highlights what are the traffic sources and what's the average revenue per user from individual source. So if it's a paid search for your based on your analytics data, and you can highlight the data basically which can highlight the revenue, average revenue per user on that. So the most important thing here is to understand how this data is generated. It's generated by linking your Analytics 360 to your ad manager. Basically, when both the tools are linked together, it gives you an insight which allows you to have information on the traffic source and the user's value out there, which allows you to take business decisions. Again, another important segment under reader engagement is the time it takes to load your site. This section highlights the time it takes. The faster the site, the better the engagement. That's the rule that we all know. Now, like I was taking you through the glossary where it has reader engagement score. If you look at this section, it talks about the reader engagement score based on the reader funnel that we had created. It talks about overall score for loyal and brand lovers. What's their score on 4 important sections that we had discussed: visits, and this is basically against the benchmark, which is 1,000 plus news publishers across the globe. The benchmark on news verticals. So this talks about the mobile engagement score, and here it is. It highlights the desktop engagement score, again based on traffic sources. If you have to go much deeper into it, you can still do that in the reader engagement, revenue score insights. Same goes for casual reader. You can understand the traffic source and the average revenue per user based on what traffic source. So if Twitter is really giving you good average revenue per user, we can dedicate a couple of more resources on Twitter to promote traffic on Twitter. So these kind of insights are really helpful to grow reader revenue. So that's on the reader engagement. Let's look at the other section called reader revenue. Reader revenue, like I said, is basically a section which gives you insights to improve your reader revenue on subscriptions as well as on ad revenue. So ensuring that ad blocker is discovered, and there are other alternatives presented to the user to ensure that ad revenue continues. Now, what this gives you is basically it creates another section here, which is called new converters. These are new converters who have converted on subscription and what their data is. So this is sample data. So you once you integrate your analytics account, you will be able to determine the data based on the reader funnel. What it highlights the average ad revenue per user and total ad revenue contributed by those readers under the particular funnel category. And it also highlights the time spent engagement by that particular user and the kind of scroll depth content that they are actually looking at. The section also looks at your total completions. It gives you insights on your conversion rate based on your platforms, which is desktop and tablet and mobile, to give you insights in terms of where to improve and how to improve. Those insights of where and how to improve are basically added in this section, which is actionable recommendation. So where are new converters coming from? Again, you need this is very crucial data to dedicate your bandwidth or resource towards a source where maximum conversions are happening. So this insight actually provides you information on what traffic sources are maximum conversion rate happening. So if you look at it, there's organic as well as there's paid search, where it has maximum conversion rate. You can go do a deep dive into basically a platform and users and understand what kind of user, what platforms and what traffic are actually completing your goals, and what percentage of traffic is actually completing your goals and providing revenue. And you can use these insights to again dedicate resources to improve this. So that's on the reader revenue section of the news consumer insights. Let's look at another section, which is video insights. So this is the fourth section under the news consumer insight tool. What this section does is basically it identifies the users based on the funnel that the tool creates, and it also allows you to understand what kind of video consumption is happening on your site based on the consumer category. And what it does is it allows you to understand average completion time, average completion rate, what percentage, just like scroll depth, there is video milestones, at what percentage are actual consumers moving away from your video content. Now, this is very important. Video is one element which creates a lot of engagement and a lot of time spent during a session, because if you can recommend more videos while watching a video, it really improves the overall stats. So if you look at it, it talks about overall performance on autoplay, how autoplay fared against click start, and people who have not even started your video. So it gives you insights on that. It talks about what percentage of users have started video across your site. So like I said, initially, there are two important parameters, which is presence and player location. Now, presence is basically understanding how many times player loaded across when the percentage was, the users were there. And player location is how many times actually readers have passed through your or scrolled past your video player on the pages. So these two stats are really crucial to start the video consumption. Then there are player start types, which is autoplay and click to play. If you go deeper into it, it will basically highlight what percentage of traffic has actually dropped off at what point from which source. So every source has its own insights in terms of traffic staying there and watching and completing your video, or just bouncing off from your video. So it highlights basically how readers can complete your videos by giving you insights. So that's on the reader video insights, and these are the four sections on the news consumer insights that you can link your account and go through. What to get accurate data, what you will need is you will need a proper NTG tagging. But without complete NTG tagging, also you'll still be able to see some insight on the analytics data that you have. So that's it. There's a small handbook also available on the which is called Playbook, which you can download and understand various sections on the NCI tool to help you create and understand the insight. So that's it from me. Over to you, Manish.
Yeah, I think thanks, Jitin. I think a lot of you would be highly confused in terms of what all does this take into consideration. So don't be. We'll be having sessions which will be workshops where we'll walk through it with each one of you and help you set it up. We'll have more details on that, but I think we're not done. We have to now look at real-time content insights. That's also something very, very interesting. So Himendra, over to you for taking over the RCI part of the session today.
Thanks, Manish. I guess I'm audible loud and clear at everybody's end.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Just give me the feedback if it is visible.
Yes, visible.
Okay, awesome. So let's start with the next part of this webinar. So all of you publishers create amazing and quality content for the readers, but what we see is that not all content make the same impact as you expect. So there are some articles which resonates very well with the users. Some get maximum shares and they get viral. And we all use analytics as well to find the information on the content data. But a lot of time you might find it very difficult to process that data. So it is very important that what information do you need to get out of the content to take better decisions around your content and to improve the reach and the revenue for your content. So the purpose of creating RCI, or the real-time content insight, is to help publishers better understand which of the content is resonating very well with the users, where the content can be improved, and to provide insights on potential content creation and distribution opportunities. So all of the data which is presented, it revolves around what is currently happening on your site, what's trending on the web, how your content performed today, and what content did especially well in the last 30 days period. So let's see what all this particular dashboard gives us. So it can be distributed into 4 different data points. The first one is real-time article performance. So this article view shows you which of your articles are generating the most real-time readers and the page views that they have generated in last 30 minutes. So this is the real time. The next one is real-time video performance. So it shows you which of your videos are generating the most real-time users, how your users are interacting with the video. Are they watching it in full screen, or are they on mute? So such important data matrix can be obtained in this video performance view. The third part is historic performance. So the data ranks all of your articles and videos and page views, or the views generated during a selected time frame. So by default, it is 30 days. And it also creates a content engagement rank known as CER. I'll discuss that in the details. So what does a content engagement rank does for your articles? It looks beyond your page views or views, and it looks at all the key engagement metrics, like it could be recirculation, what is the percentage of your loyal readers on the article, what was the scrolled up for the article or the website, how many readers signed up to your newsletter via that particular article. So such key metrics are included, and they give you a content engagement rank as well. And the last part of this dashboard is the trends in your region. So whatever is trending across the Google surface is shown in this dashboard, so that you can create more meaningful content, the content which is resonating with the users, or the users what they are searching. Create content around that so that you can get more eyeballs. So let's move ahead. Let's see a glossary of the new information that you would be seeing while using RCI. The first one is news tagging guide. As Jitin has already discussed, we will take another session for this, and we will give you the know-how in how you can integrate it with your website. Like I talk about content engagement rank, CER. So it has 7 metrics on articles and 4 metrics on videos. We will discuss those 7 and 4 metrics in detail while I'll give you a live demo of RCI dashboard. Then one of the important factor is the page speed. We all know that what is the page speed, basically how much time the page has taken to load. Newsroom view. RCI dashboard provides a very good visual view, which they call as a newsroom view, where all the articles which are currently trending for your websites are listed. You can cast it in your organization, where all your content creators and editors have a live look at that which particular article is trending. Then we have historic performance, the key performance metrics which is associated with the articles and video across a selected period of time. Real-time search trends, similar to like the Google trends. And the last is recirculation. So basically what the users are doing when they come to your website, how they are engaging, and what repeated activities they are doing. Are they sharing your content? Are they sending comment on your content? So those are factors comes under recirculation. So I'll quickly move to the next part, which is the live demo. I'm just going to change the screen. I hope the new screen is visible.
Yes, visible.
So this is the real-time content insight dashboard. So to begin with, you need to link your Google Analytics account by clicking on sign in. and after that you can choose which particular dimension you want to showcase or to review here, and it will start to fill in your data here. So as I discussed, there are the 4 parts here: real-time article performance, real-time video performance, historic performance, and trends in your region. The first one is real-time article performance. The center part provides you the beautiful visual of newsroom view, where your articles are listed in a very visual manner, where all the top 5 articles which are currently trending are listed. You can choose to exclude your homepage in this view, so that only the articles which are making any impact would be visible here, and you can launch it in full screen as well. If I go below this newsroom view, I have the top 20 articles listed on the basis of real time. There are few metrics which is available with every particular article. If I click and expand this particular data, I would be able to see another view which gives me the real time performance on which particular geography, from which particular geography I'm getting the data. What are my top 5 referral sources for this particular article? What is the performance today? So whether this particular article is being viewed by loyal users or the casual users. So based on these particular metric, I can identify if my article is resonating very well with my loyal users. Maybe I can send a push notification and get more of my loyal users. If the article is resonating very well with my casual readers, so maybe it is getting a good traffic from organic and the search. So maybe I want to promote this particular article on Facebook and Google and get more eyeballs. On what particular platform, whether it is mobile or the desktop, the traffic is coming from, what is the average page speed? So it shows that it is 4 seconds, which is uh, performing very well with the average page speed of your article. It shows the scroll depth. So if I see that 95% of my users scrolled only to 25%, and people who went down till 100% is like the 43%. So based on this metric, I can decide whether I want to place my advertisement in the first scroll or the second scroll, so that it gets more viewable impressions and other impressions are not being missed. So this gives you at a glance information about these metrics. So if I'm seeing C here, this is the casual readers. The recirculation rate for this particular article is below my website recirculation rate. And same goes with the page speed. If it is red, then it is above my average page speeds. So maybe I want to review this particular article in terms of like the image sizes which I have used, whether they are of the optimized sizes, or maybe I can see that if the article is very long, I would want to cut it short. The third part of this particular dashboard is the today's performance dashboard, which provides you the real-time readers of across your website, and what was your daily visits, what is the geography from where the maximum users are coming. So this is the site-wide detail for your website. So this is about the article performance view. Let's move on to real-time video performance view. There are several other metrics which this particular dashboard covers, similar to article performance view, but these are well versed with the video. So when I see video, there is a new metric which is called completion rate. It is in green. So basically, what is it shows that the above it is above the average completion rate of my website. Unmute rate, so how many users have watched the video with mute on or the unmute on, and how many users have seen it in full screen. So these are the few metrics which this dashboard gives you for the real-time video performance data. So you can take a lot of decisions here as well. So if a user did not complete the video, so maybe the length of the video is too long, you would want to cut it short, or the kind of content which is resonating well with the casual readers, or if it is going well with the casual readers, so there the chances of making it viral is more with what loyal readers are seeing. Similarly, if I go and see the today's performance dashboard, it gives me the similar data here as well, but in terms of video performance. So like in article performance, when we had the scroll depth, so in real-time video performance, we have the completion rate. So this gives you a detailed insight about your real-time video performance on your website. So let's move on to historic performance. Historic performance, as I discussed, it gives you a data about by default about last 30 days. You can also choose the data on the basis of your author or the category, that which particular category is getting what kind of data in the historic performance dashboard. You can choose these categories by clicking on this gear sign, and you can put the author index number or the category index number from the custom dimensions of your Google Tag Manager or analytics. So if I go down, I get top articles by the key data metrics. So this particular article is topping my data metric in the number of page views. This article goes very well with the loyal reader. So you can go and check those articles, that what actually you did very well with the article, which you can replicate with other articles as well. So for an example, if a recirculation rate for the article was very good, so what type of content was it, how well it resonated with the readers, and similar content you can create more. So in the presentation, I talked about CER, content engagement rate. So here it gives you all the 7 metrics on the article and the 4 metrics on video. So you would want to increase your social share rate for your articles. If you have comment integrated, then you can increase the comment rate, where users are basically re-engaging with the your article when they are coming and reading it. So it also reduces the bounce rate for your content. They are interacting, they are moving on to another articles, they are signing up to your newsletter, which in turns increase your loyal readers. So these 7 metrics for article and 4 metrics for video is very crucial. Now let's move on to the next part, which is trends in your region. So similar to like the Google Trends, it gives you a real-time search trends, what the users are searching across all the Google surfaces, whether it's Google search or the news or even on the YouTube searches. So seeing these particular trends, you can create more content around these trends, which resonates very well with the users in real time, and you can get more traffic and more revenue. I'll quickly, after this, take few of the frequently asked questions which came across me when I was interacting with a lot of publishers post the last week's call. So I'm taking those particular FAQs right now. So a lot of time questions is asked, do I need to implement any Google Analytics tags on my website to use real-time content inside? You can allow with the existing Google Analytics tags to use this real-time insight. You can also bookmark that page so that whenever you are coming on RCI dashboard, you can have a view at it directly. Which new NTG tags or events should I implement specifically? So there is a complete handbook which is released by Google. You can have a view at that. It provides you the complete tags which are particular with the RCI and NCI dashboard, which you would want to change or implement on your website. You can go to Google Tags Manager and implement that. At times you would come across the situation that you are not able to see any data in RCI. So it might be possible that the RCI data for the today's period is not being generated. So what you can do is you can go to the settings gear sign, and you can change it to yesterday's performance to see the data till the time the current data is generated for your website. The next point is, why aren't the article images loading in the newsroom view? So at times you would be able to see that when you are launching newsroom view, the images which are appearing at the top are shown as image not available. The main issue which come across for this type of new image breaking is basically when you do not have any open graph image tags specified in your on your website, so that Google do not know that which particular is the hero image of your website to showcase that. So you can have a view at that as well. My data isn't showing up in the dashboard. What do I do? Same, that you have to like wait for some time for the current data to populate. I don't see any of my authors or categories in the drop down for historic performance section. For this, you need to integrate that data as I discussed with this gear sign, and implement the author index number or the category index number from here. So if you will start using this, you would be able to see this document guide, which gives you the complete information related to RCI. So this is a complete playbook. You can go through it. In NCI, news tag guide, you would be able to see the implementation points for every kind of video which you have integrated, whether you are using video.js, or whether you are using a YouTube video or the Vimeo video, whether you made the integration to your Google Analytics via Google Tag Manager or analytics.js. So complete and the detailed guide is available. Have a look at it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to your accounts manager at Meteorology. We would be happy to help you out there. So this was all about real-time content inside dashboard. I will hand over it to Manish now to take you further for this webinar session.
Thank you, Hemendra, and I hope that was useful for everyone. I would like to, see more of you using it. It's a very exciting aspect of the overall analytics interface. Now, I'm very excited to bring on to the session today one of our customers on a new segment we call as Side-by-Side Chat. And very excited to welcome Satyanarayan Bola, who's the co-founder of Gulte.com. Gulte, as you know, is one of the leading news and entertainment sites in India. Specifically, they have a very large audience in the south of India, as well as a very large audience outside of India, where a lot of the diaspora, from India sits and they want to keep in touch with the happenings in their country. So, Satya, very, very warm welcome to you. If you're there, please, I would request you to unmute your microphone and also your camera.
Hi, Manish. Hi, team.
Hi, thanks, Satya, for making time for talking to us. Satya, as I understand, last week the team helped, our team helped you in integrate with RCI and NCI. So just wanted to have a quick chat with you around that, Satya. So I have a few questions which I had prepared, and I'll bring those up one by one, Satya, and would like to hear your thoughts on that. So I think the first question is, a question which is a very obvious one, which is how much of Google Analytics data do you and your teams analyze to make strategic decisions on your content, consumer, and business? So do you use a lot of Google Analytics data for your business strategy, Satya? That's the first question.
Yes, Manish. It's very important. We are into news field, so we should analyze Google Analytics data. First, we mainly focus on real-time analytics, and the second, the social, from where we are getting the traffic, like Facebook, Twitter, and all, and the keywords, from which keywords we are getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, Satya. So that's good to know. So I think the next question is, what areas of Google Analytics do you use normally? So you already answered that. So you said you use a lot of real-time analytics and a lot of traffic sources or channels from where you're getting the data. This is probably what you use. Anything beyond this which you use normally?
Actually, we get the reports like monthly wise and weekly wise reports. So we analyze the performance of the month wise performance, where we are getting down, and which type of articles we are getting more interaction to users. So we will mainly focus on reports, and we create the events in the Google Analytics. So by tracking the events, we can gather more data. We can analyze more data.
Okay. So what you're saying is you mostly look at reports, which means a lot of your interaction is with the reports is post facto, which means after the event has occurred, and a bit of real-time data as well. So it's a combination of historical data combined with real-time data is what you currently use Google Analytics for.
Yes.
And you said you use a lot of events, which means you have done a lot of event-based tagging in the code so that you can capture specific events.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the next question I have for you is, so now that you have RCI and NCI set up, how has your experience been on real-time content insights and news consumer insights dashboard? Like what have you made out of it? Of course, a lot of publishers who saw the session today, they saw the demos, but you've seen your content appearing on that in, I would say, flesh and blood. So how did you make of it?
Yeah, really we are excited about this, Manish. A few days back, we started using it from few days back. And from RCI, we are getting more info like real-time performance. And in this RCI, the first thing I liked is about division of users, like casual users, loyal users, and recirculation, and these details are given very in detailed. So that part I liked it. And another one is trends part, trend section also I liked it very well, Manish. So that based on analyzing the trends, we can come up with new articles. Already Google Trends is there, but here what I observed is it's giving more accurate and depend on the categories and depend on the regions. It's giving more accurate data. The trend section in the RCA.
Great. So you haven't evaluated NCI so much, I guess. Is that the case?
Yeah, NCI part we will go through it.
Okay. So have you set up your live newsroom screen? Have you set up your live newsroom screen using?
That's another great future, Manish. Like we have a big TV, and also we team analyzing the live data. In that, this screen is very good, like displaying images along with the articles. No, so.
Yeah.
Whole V team can analyze what the articles are going in the live, so we can push it more better.
Okay, awesome. Great. So next question, I think you might have already answered some of it. What benefits do you think you'll be able to draw from your new data visualization tools, the RCI, NCI dashboards we have set up for you? So any other benefits you see you can bring to your business from these tools?
Yeah, first important thing is the division of casual readers to brand lovers. So we should draw a plan to how to convert these casual readers to brand lovers. So we are getting these casual readers from many different sources like social or from Google search and all. So we are planning to get more interesting content. So these casual readers will move to brand lovers. Since we observed that brand lover revenue from brand lovers articles are very good. So our prime focus is to convert these readers.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And finally, Satya, the last question for you for today is what feedback or advice would you have for other fellow publishers who are on the call today? Any last words for them? Any suggestions?
Yeah, Manish, as a publisher, I strongly recommend this since we already everyone aware of using analytics, but this is the next version of analytics combined several parts like YouTube's like video section, like or this radar section. So many other benefits here it incorporated in this RCA and NCA than analytics, which we normally using now.
Okay.
So I strongly recommend it, and it really helps to increase our traffic in coming days if you analyze this correctly. Okay.
Cool. Thanks so much, Satya, for your time. I think we have a little bit time. So if any of the participants today have any questions for Satya, maybe he can be kind enough to answer that. So we'll just wait if there are any questions anybody has for him, or we'll move ahead. Good, Satya. I think you were very good in your explanations. Nobody has any questions to us to say
That's
right now. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Satya, for taking time out. I think there is one. Okay, no, that's not a question. Fine. Thanks, Satya. Thank you so much. So just a note for everyone else who's watching. We have our upcoming session now next planned for 29th. As you might have already attended the previous one with Fazal. Fazal is going to be back for the session on the 29th. We'll be sending you the invites for that really soon. And so you look forward to your presence there with Fazal. And I think now that we've kind of come to the end of the session today, we still have some time. So if there are any specific questions, we can take those up at this point of time. Any specific questions anybody has?
Manish, Alok Joshi has raised his hand. I think he has a question. I'm asking him to unmute now.
Okay, thanks, Alok.
Alok, you can ask a question.
Yeah.
Your voice is not audible. Maybe you would want to type it in.
Can't hear you, Alok. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So what I wanted to know is, you only analyze data on, say, websites, or you also help in improving the traffic or revenues on YouTube and Facebook, especially videos?
So Alok, I think the first step to improving revenue is analyzing the data. And once the data is analyzed, there is a process and a methodology to then work around those insights and work towards improving the revenue. So it's not something which we'll stop at just analyzing the data. We will need to then take actions on that. And what we believe is, if you do follow these guidelines, and these guidelines evolve, right, as time progresses.
Okay.
If you do follow these guidelines, and like Satya mentioned, conversion of casual readers to loyal readers, follow that funnel, analyze what is the engagement, and a very important term which was mentioned several times, which was recirculation. How much of your data is being recirculated? If you analyze all of that, this should be a direct byproduct of increasing your engagement, your revenue. So it's all hand in hand. And once you do this step by step, the next steps will automatically come through for you.
Okay, but if one doesn't have any website, one only runs a Facebook and YouTube video, does it help?
If your data is integrated with Google Analytics, then that's where the data is being first captured. So to improve any aspect, you need to first be capturing data. Now, if you have a data dashboard for Facebook and all, then you can look at that, but we are not the best people for advising you on Facebook at this point of time, or at least on this forum.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And on YouTube?
YouTube, as I said, if YouTube is integrated with Google Analytics, then ultimately that data will flow back into Google Analytics, and then that data will become the basis on which you'll build your dashboard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have one question from Tarun. It's posted in the chat.
Yeah, Tarun, it's a pretty long question. Maybe you can just unmute yourself and ask it.
Hi, my question is to Satya and team. So in the demo, it was shown that we would get to see the trending feature and all. Does it also give us a recommendation what sort of content should we put, or should we work on? Because I happened to see in the demo that it was showing some trending kind of stuff. So should we work on those trending stuff to improve the traffic?
I think Hemendra, you can take this question.
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm creating a kind of a content, and if I know that there are a set of users which are already looking for a more content around those keywords, so the chances of getting my content on their search queries is higher. So if I do not have that kind of a content, then I might miss on that all the users which are searching for that content. So if I see about something trending, like for an example, right now a lot of people are writing articles on COVID-19, but possibly that the trending keyword is for a particular vaccine which Russia has come up. So am I covering that particular article on my news site, or what kind of content is actually being covered on that particular keyword also makes a key part of getting more users. So definitely you should get the trending keywords and start creating content around that. So in a span of some time, you would able to see users coming onto your website, and the number of loyal users which are coming to your websites through those keywords will also increase.
Okay, I have one more question, if you don't mind. So the same keyword, it would be reflecting to other publishers also, right? Like if I'm not wrong. So how can we compete? Like, can we be competitive enough to beat them, or we just need to work on the content what has been recommended?
So Tarun, there are several factors when Google rank your content on its search surfaces. There are various factors: what keywords you are using, what is the ideal length of your content, what particular data you are putting into, whether you are following all the guidelines which Google has specified. What is your page load time for your website? Are there any errors on the pages? Does your website has AMP associated with that particular pages? So all these factors come into the play when Google ranks your content on its search surfaces. So in a way, if I'll say that you have covered an article on a particular keyword, is not exactly the one only point which would ensure that you are getting organic traffic. So there are several factors which you need to cover, and it is always a sum of all those factors which decides whether your article is coming up at the top and you are beating the other competitors.
Thanks, Tarun. Great questions, and thanks, Hemendra, for the answers. Any other questions from anyone? All right, I think no. So we'll do a quick poll again, a fun poll on how the session today was. So that poll should be coming up on your screen anytime now. Just getting some quick feedback. So I see a few have rated us as 4 out of 5. Definitely get back to you and ask you on where we could have improved. All right, we'll wait a couple more minutes. Great. I think we can end the poll. I mean, we're pretty happy with the response. So good. So we'll give the final word now to our guest of honor, Jenna, who's joined us all the way from Singapore. Jenna, over to you for the final word before we close the session for today.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you, team, also for the wonderful presentation today. Jitin and Hemendra, thank you for the introduction to the RCI and the NCI. I mean, for me personally, the live demos were the highlight. I thought that was really insightful. And I also wanted to say a special thank you to Satya for sharing your experience with us. I love that the team is already thinking about how they can strategize to convert the casual users to brand lovers. And I mean, that's completely the right track, and, great work there already. So thank you, Manish, for preparing and for organizing this session. I think, it would be great if we could see more engagement from the attendees. I understand that there's workshops lined up for a deep dive on NCI and RCI, so would love to see participation there. So I welcome everybody to, reach out to the Mediology contacts and Manish to sign up if you're looking to participate in the program. We'd love to have you.
All right, thank you, Jenna. So yeah, with that, I think we're on the end of today's meeting or webinar, whatever you'd like to call it. And it's not the end, but a new beginning now for the next session. I mentioned Fazal is back on the 29th. So look forward to seeing all of you again there on the 29th, and also participate in the live workshops which we'll be holding out for helping each one of you get back on NCI, RCI, or get on NCI, RCI. News tagging will be another area we'll be focusing on. Very, very important aspect of great dashboards is great data collection, which will happen through news tagging. And hopefully it'll, at the end of it, all of you will benefit with more business, better users, conversion of your users from casual to brand lovers, and rock solid brands which will last years to come. So with that, thank you so much for your participation, and look forward to the next session coming ahead. Bye-bye.